Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video, I'll be unboxing and doing a hands-on review of the Infinix 08i. Now here's the box. Infinix is going to be launching this phone only in one variant with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage at an introductory price of 15,000 rupees for a limited time period. It will be available in two colors, silver diamond and black diamond. And we have the silver diamond color with us right now. Now you can consider this phone as a flagship from Infinix in India in the mid-range segment, and they've literally thrown everything into it. Like, it has great cameras starting off with a 48 megapixel primary camera, a display with dual pinhole design with 90Hz refresh rate, sleek bezels all around, and even great performance. So this phone really packs a lot of cool features at a pretty aggressive pricing. So without any further delays, let's get on with the unboxing. By the way, here's a quick look at the box all around. Compared to the previous Infinix phones, this 0 series has a completely different box design. It definitely looks much better than the regular design. Now once we open the box, first we have the phone itself. Let me just put that aside. Next we have an 18 watts power adapter, followed by a USB Type-C charging cable with orange accent colors on the inside. Next we have the SIM card ejector, and for the first time I'm seeing Infinix stickers as well. That's followed by some documentation, a soft silicone case, and finally we also get a screen protector. Now coming back to the phone, we have a sticker on the front with all the highlighting features which I've just talked about, and on the back we have another sticker with IMEI numbers. And once we remove all the stickers, this is how the phone looks on the front, and this is how the phone looks on the back. Now let's have a physical overview. On the back, this phone has a plastic back panel with a two-tone finish. At the top, it has a diamond cut design, and below that, it has a rainbow aurora color. The entire panel has a nice matte finish, so it does prevent smudges, and it also helps a bit with the grip. At the top, it has a rhombus-shaped quad camera setup along with quad LED flash. This camera setup, or the entire camera design, is the most unique thing about this phone, which actually makes this phone stand out a lot. Like, there's no other phone in the market with this kind of a design. So this phone definitely has its own unique presence. Now on the front, we have a pretty huge display with dual pinhole design, protected by 2.5D curved glass. Above the display, we have the regular earpiece, sensors, and dual LED flash as well. Below the display, it's completely plain, and the chin is also quite small. Now for the sides, on the right side, it has a power and volume buttons. Volume buttons are made of plastic, they have a nice clicky feel to them, and they are sufficiently elevated. As for the power button, it is much flatter and flush to the side, and on this phone, power button also acts like a fingerprint scanner, which I'll be testing later. Now at the top, it's completely plain. On the left side, we have just the SIM card tray housing 2 nano SIM slots along with a dedicated SD card slot. Finally, at the bottom, we have the audio jack followed by the primary microphone, USB Type-C charging port, and the speaker grill. Initial impressions: phone fits pretty perfectly in a single hand, and it has a bit of weight to it but doesn't feel too heavy. So weight distribution is pretty decent. Now this is how the phone looks with the case on. It has a tiny bit of raised lip for the rear camera module, so whenever you place your phone on a flat surface, cameras are still very well protected. With that said, this case can just give you some extra grip, that's it, no real protection. So if you are really worried about dropping your phone, then get a better case. Now with that said, these are the complete specifications of this phone. On the rear, this phone has a quad camera setup with a 48 megapixel primary camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, a 2 megapixel depth sensor for taking portrait shots, and finally an AR lens as well. That's also followed by a quad LED flash, which is something pretty unique that you can only find on Infinix phones. For selfies, you get a dual camera setup with a 16 megapixel primary camera and a 8 megapixel wide angle camera with 105-degree field of view along with dual LED flash. As for display, it is a 6.85-inch IPS panel with Full HD Plus resolution, dual pinhole design, 90Hz refresh rate, 180Hz screen sampling rate with 20.5:9 aspect ratio, and a peak brightness of 480 nits. As for performance, it sports a MediaTek Helio G90T processor with Mali G70 GPU with 8GB of LPDDR4X RAM and 128GB of UFS 2.1 storage, along with multi-dimensional liquid cooling system, which can reduce the temperature from 4 to 6 degrees. Right out of the box, it will be running XOS 7.0 based on Android 10. Powering this device is a 4500 mAh battery that supports 33W fast charging, but only comes with an 18W power adapter inside the box. So those were all the complete specifications. Now let me turn on the phone and set it up and come back to you in a second. So this is how the phone looks once we turn it on and set it up. We also get an app drawer. There is a bit of bloatware on this phone, but we can remove them if you want. And here's the about page. This phone is running XOS version 7.0 based on Android 10, and right out of the box it has the August security patch. It should be getting the latest update pretty soon. As for storage, out of that 128GB of space, we get about 115GB of storage for our user apps and user data. And out of that 8GB of RAM, we get about 4.54GB of RAM free right out of the box, which should be great for multitasking. Now here's the camera interface. It looks pretty similar to regular Infinix phones, but on this phone we have some pretty cool features like on video recording. We have ultra stable shot, which can further stabilize the footage by using gyroscope and electronic image stabilization, and we can use this ultra stable mode for both the primary camera and even for the wide angle camera. Besides that, we also have the regular night mode for the rear camera, and on this phone we can only use it with the primary camera. Now this is the interface for the front facing camera, and we have a toggle to switch between the primary camera and the wide angle camera. And even with the front facing camera, while recording video we have ultra stable mode, and it works both with the primary camera and even with the wide angle camera. And that's something really unique for this phone. And on this phone we can also record video in 4K resolution with both the front and rear cameras, and it also has eye autofocus technology for better autofocus. So basically there's a lot of camera tech on this phone. Now these are some sample shots taken with the front and rear cameras. Now here's a sample footage recorded with the rear camera without ultra stable mode and with ultra stable mode. Now here's a sample footage from the front camera. Now let's test the speaker loudness. So that's the speaker test. This phone has just a single speaker at the bottom, no dual speakers. As for speaker loudness, it is loud enough for regular media consumption, ringtones and alarms. No complaints over there. Now let's test the fingerprint scanner. By default, whenever you touch the fingerprint scanner, it automatically unlocks the phone, and fingerprint scanner itself is pretty fast. But just like with other phones with similar mechanism, there is a problem with accidental touches. So I would suggest you to change the unlock setting from fingerprint settings from touch to press the power button. And once you do that, you need to press the power button with the right fingerprint to unlock the phone. Or else, even on the lock screen, you can just touch the power button to unlock the phone. Overall, fingerprint scanner works really well. Now let's test the face unlock feature. Once again, I've already set it up, and here we go. In good lighting conditions, it is pretty fast, almost instantaneous. And even in low lighting conditions, it works, but it is slightly slower. Now before I conclude, these are the benchmark scores. So guys, this is the new Infinix 08i. Well, the thing that really stands out about this phone is the overall performance and definitely its display. It definitely has one of the best displays in the price segment, and that 90Hz refresh rate really works, and the phone feels much smoother than a regular phone with 60Hz refresh rate. And even the processor used on this phone is pretty good, so you won't find any kind of lag or any kind of hiccups for regular usage or even while gaming. As for cameras, just like other Infinix phones, they are pretty good and worth the price. Colors look slightly saturated in close-up shots, but they do look pleasing. Even the ultra stable shot while recording video is pretty good, and the footage is much more stable than your regular video footage. So overall, this phone packs good performance, bigger battery, great cameras and an amazing looking display. This is definitely the best phone that Infinix has launched in India, and that too at a pretty aggressive pricing. So guys, what do you think about this phone? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.